Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm finishing off the signpost for Mr. Halfpenny. See you in a minute. Okay, so I did the sign medallion top part the other week. I've just got to put in the guy's name and his wife's name on either side of the 2010, which is when they got married, but we'll do that with the little laser engraver, I think. I've now got the signs themselves to do, the pointers. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to use something like this sort of pallet wood type thing. I think that'll be fine when it's engraved in Oz mode or whatever. There's a pointer at the end, and then there is a small picture of some sort that will bring back part of the place that they've been to. I've got the place names done. I've just been trying to get a size of font done on the computer, and I'm fighting my usual problems with getting our printer to print properly, but that's slightly too big. So I came down a size, and I think that's about right. That should give me about the right sort of size. So I'm going to cut all these out and stick them together. We'll have a play with one of these. I'll cut these out, get them to the right size, and have a play at routing. Well, I've got that done, but that's immediately shown me a problem in that to get that on the sign, plus a pointer on the end and a character thing and the thing saying how many miles it is never going to work. That's far too big. Although it fits nicely on the sign, it either needs a more condensed typeface, which would be useful, or it needs to go slightly smaller, I think. I might do it. That's a more condensed typeface. We can give that one a go, I think. That seems to be a better size. It does mean that when I get something like Whitby, it's going to be a lot smaller, but by the time you've got your miles and your distance on it, it's not going to be a lot different. But that'll give me enough room to put the post in there and the engraving on the end. So I'll glue this down with wood glue. I'll get the little laser engraver out as well. What I think I'm going to do is try and engrave these and then possibly burn it and then just sand back rather than using the resins, because the engraving will be brown anyway. So right, the signs are all made up. I'm just going to try the kangaroo on the back of the Melbourne sign, just to see how it goes, how it burns on a bit of scrap at the end of the sign itself, and we'll see how that looks. So let's see how that looks. That's gone well, that's gone nice and deep. there's a few holes and messes where nails have come through, but that's nothing to do with the burn. That's just the original wood because I'm using a bit of scrap. But that's burnt a really nice pattern in there. Now I've done all the logos. We've got the Abbey at Whitby, Greek flag, kangaroo for Australia, Orlando we've got the Magic Kingdom Disney symbol, and the Golden Gate Bridge for San Francisco. I'm just putting a spot of clear sellotape over those now before I do anything else, because the finish on the wood has come out like a light brown, but it's quite sticky, a bit sappy. Whether that's the wood, I'm not sure. I've not had it happen before, but I'm afraid that if I don't do this now at this stage, the minute I start routering, I'm going to end up with loads of bits of sawdust stuck to all of the symbols. As soon as it's finished, I can get a finish on it, something like Osmo oil or something, and that should solve the problem. But in the meantime, before we start doing any sanding or anything, so we're ready now to start on the route. So I think the router will need to be supported on both sides, because it's quite a narrow piece of wood, about 70 mil. So I'm going to strap down one either side and work on the one in the middle. But because these are quite big, thick letter things, there's no narrow lines on them, I might go, I think there's another one that was a bit thicker. There's a spiral cutter there that's probably about right, so I think I'm going to have a go with that one first. We'll unplug the router and have a look and see with that one, and then we'll have a go. Right, getting there slowly. I think I need a little bit more depth on the cut, and I think we can then sand out some of the patches where we get the burn in the grain of the wood. Now, I wasn't too convinced by the burning. It didn't give me the result that I wanted, so I've gone on to plan B, which is some of the weathering powders that I use with me model railways, and effectively that is a burnt umber powder which will brush into the letters to colour them. Effectively it matches the engravings, and then you can vacuum off the surplus from the surface, and if there is any on that you don't want, you can just sand the surface back. But I think I'm getting a better result with that than I was with the burnt finish. I'm just running the flame over it afterwards just to pick up the wood grain. giving me the sort of finish that I want. Much easier to control, and then as I say, I can come along afterwards and just fill in with the a little bit of burning on the wood, just to pick some of the grain up in it. Right, that's another one done. So there we are, Dave and Emma Halfpenny, married 2010, 5 significant places they've visited, and that's pretty much it. I think it's had 2 coats of Osmo UV protection oil, which should see it overwintering for a few years, and I think they're just going to put it into a shoe on the ground, bolted onto a concrete terrace. If he wants a bigger post, I can always supply one, but I think that's not too intrusive anyway. And again, it would have been nicer to have had the slats in a bit perhaps, but I think that's pretty much what he wanted anyway. So hope the video was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different. See you then. Bye.